They lied to you about the stars. They told you space was infinite possibility, endless frontier, and potential friends waiting just around the cosmic bend. This was the most comfortable deception ever engineered. The promise of an external savior, a distraction built on the scale of the cosmos, designed specifically to keep your eyes pointed up while the foundations under your feet crumbled. That is the true mechanism behind the Fermi paradox. Forget Drake's equation. Forget the sterile technicalities of oxygen levels and habitable zones. That is high school science, utterly useless. The problem isn't astrophysics. The problem is social architecture. The problem is us. We are the filter. Enrico Fermi looked at the night sky, a terrifying expanse of trillions upon trillions of stars, and asked the simplest, most devastating question. Where is everybody? The statistics demand an answer. Billions of galaxies, trillions of stars. Life should not only be abundant, the universe should be cacophonous with alien radio waves, interstellar monuments, and signs of industrial expansion so vast they block out the light of entire systems. But what do we hear? Nothing. Just the deepest, most unnerving silence imaginable. Dead air. This silence, you must understand, is not an absence of sound. It is an overwhelming data point. It is the clearest warning sign ever broadcast, and we refuse to read the ticker. We are taught to look for advanced Dyson spheres or colossal battleships, seeking proof that intelligence can escape its cradle. That is the wrong hunt entirely. The search should be for the fundamental flaw that prevents every single advanced species from graduating past the adolescent, volatile stage we are currently suffering through. Here is the reality, raw and unhedged. The great filter is not some future comet strike or gamma-ray burst. That's cosmic fate. You can't control that. The actual filter is behavioral. It's systemic. It is the inescapable evolutionary trap that ensures any species achieving industrial capacity, the capacity to truly change its environment, also develops the structural imperatives for guaranteed self-immolation. This trap, my friend, is built on the pursuit of exponential growth on a finite planet. It is fueled by manufactured scarcity, mandated conflict, and the complete and total normalization of structural inequity. Think about it. Every highly centralized, technologically advanced civilization eventually hits the wall of maximum extraction. They run out of planet before they run out of ambition. They poison their oceans just as their fusion reactors come online. They fracture into warring factions precisely when they should be uniting to tackle planetary-scale problems. They invent perfect tools for self-destruction, nuclear fire, engineered plague, unchecked AI, and then they ensure those tools are managed by the least emotionally mature, most short-sighted members of the species, because that is simply how political power is structured everywhere. This isn't a cosmic mystery, it's poor planning. It's biological arrogance codified into policy. If the comfort of believing we are alone, or that the answer lies in some unreachable, distant, cosmic dust cloud, is more palatable to you than confronting the mirror, then stop listening now. But if you value brutal truth over the anesthetic comfort of official narratives, if the quiet desperation of our own societal failings keeps you up at night, then perhaps you belong among the few who are willing to listen to the signal hidden in the silence. The problem is the internal mechanism of control. The filter is the lie that economic growth is perpetual and mandatory. It is the necessity of class division to drive unsustainable consumerism. Look at us. We spend billions searching for intelligent life outside our atmosphere, while refusing to apply that intelligence to save the ecosystem we are currently sitting on. We prioritize the latest phone upgrade over clean drinking water for 1 billion people. We are actively engaged in the filter process right now. The silence of the universe is not the sound of nothingness. It is the accumulated sigh of every civilization that made the exact same fatal choices we are making today. They grew fast. They consumed everything. They became profoundly complex. And then they inevitably broke themselves on the jagged, sharp edges of their own societal design. They became victims of their success. You see, becoming smart is easy. Staying smart, sustainably and ethically, across millennia. That is the true, elusive, great filter. That is the one test nobody passes. I honestly doubt we will be the first. We think technology is our shield. That is the fatal miscalculation. Technology is merely accelerated entropy, a highly efficient clock counting down the resources needed for our stability. We don't design tools to save ourselves. We design bigger, faster methods of extraction and consumption, measuring the speed of our own inevitable demise with impressive accuracy. The market demands short-term profit. It doesn't care about the long game. It cares about Q3 earnings, the instantaneous spike, the quarterly lie that everything is sustainable if the numbers look right on paper. The economic machine actively refuses to price in the true cost of existence, ecological collapse, societal fragility, the mental health pandemic. These are all treated as mere externalities, things to be swept under the balance sheet until the planet itself forecloses on the debt. This mechanism is the filter itself, codified into law and reinforced by our collective, profound dependence on perpetual growth. It is structural suicide if confronting the uncomfortable truth, the kind of truth that the majority actively rejects in favor of comfortable denial, is a necessary habit for you, then perhaps you belong here. We track the real signal hidden deep beneath the comforting noise. Now look at how we process information. We possess the accumulated knowledge of every human era, vast, accessible, immediate. Yet we choose to drown in distraction. We are the most informed civilization in history, rendered completely paralyzed by manufactured outrage and targeted advertising. We mistake activity for action, believing that clicking share somehow equates to solving the problem. The system doesn't need to censor the truth. It just needs to bury it under an avalanche of irrelevant, dopamine-driven garbage. You, watching this now, sitting there on your high-definition screen, surrounded by things you didn't need but were convinced you had to have. Do you honestly believe your consumption habits are innocent? They are the fuel. They are the structural support beams of the filter. You finance the system that ensures our quiet termination. Don't lie to yourself about it. Ponder the scale of necessary coordination required to bypass the filter. Global energy transition, equitable resource distribution, ending the profit motive for war, implementing planetary management systems. These things require genuine, selfless, long-term thinking across multiple generations. What do we get instead? 4-year political cycles defined by internal squabbling, defined by the immediate need for re-election, defined by the lowest common denominator of voter attention span. Our institutions are not designed to solve existential problems. They are designed to manage existing power structures until the money runs out. When a massive crisis hits, a true black swan event that demands unified response, say a synthetic pandemic or runaway climate feedback loop, the system will not fail with a bang. It will fail with the tedious, suffocating elegance of bureaucracy, too many meetings, too many committees, too much jurisdictional confusion. The Great Filter won't be a giant asteroid striking Earth. It will be 500 mid-level administrators arguing over who signs the requisition form for the planetary lifeboat. That is the death of complex intelligence. Death by memorandum. This is why the silence is so deafening. The vastness of space has not killed these civilizations. Their own internal organizational complexity killed them. They reached the cusp of spacefaring potential, that tantalizing moment where they could have jumped the evolutionary hurdle and then tripped over the petty, predictable politics of their home world. They couldn't coordinate the final jump. They broke themselves down into warring tribes, just as the orbital mechanics demanded unity. Think of it. They achieved fusion power, unlocked the secrets of the atom, mapped the entire genome, and still couldn't figure out how to share water. Pathetic. And maybe this is the terrifying lesson of the Fermi paradox. Intelligence, the thing we fetishize, is not the key to longevity. It's the mechanism of rapid, predictable self-termination. The universe is not filled with other civilizations because intelligence is a temporary, hyper-unstable state, guaranteed to dismantle its own foundation within a few thousand years of achieving technological maturity. We see the pattern everywhere in our own history. Civilizations rise, become profoundly advanced, overextend their supply chains, and collapse violently back into localized, pre-industrial chaos. Now just apply that model on a planetary scale. We think our globalized internet and advanced logistics make us immune. Wrong. They just make the fall faster, harder, and more interconnected. When the banking system seizes up, when the food distribution networks halt, it won't be a slow decline. It will be the lights going out everywhere, all at once. That's the filter at its most efficient. We engineered a perfect, globally synchronized failure mechanism, and we called it the modern economy. The Great Filter, the true killer of galactic potential, is not cosmic radiation. It is the terminal addiction to the short-term fix. We trade global security for minor, immediate convenience. We burn the planet's savings account, the fossil fuels that took millennia to bank, to power a 7-day shopping cycle. This isn't stupidity. This is systemic suicide. Every institution we construct, the corporation, the quarterly report, the election cycle, demands an instant win, an immediate surge of validation, utterly ignoring the century horizon. It's pure evolutionary programming writ large. Grab the berry now, even if it poisons the root system. And we have built an entire global infrastructure that rewards the most aggressive practitioners of this toxic calculus. We worship the growth metric, exponential growth on a finite sphere. You don't need a math degree to recognize that equation ends in a crash. You need a functioning sense of reality. You need to value truth over the comfortable lie that tomorrow will somehow just be better. If that sentiment resonates with you, if you instinctively recoil from the blinding optimism peddled by the mainstream, then you belong here. This isn't just a channel. It's where skepticism finds its community. Now look at the historical record. Every collapsed civilization followed this exact script. Mesopotamia over-irrigated and salted the earth until it yielded nothing. The Maya deforested their surroundings until the rains failed and the soil blew away. They didn't run out of priests or poets. They ran out of resilience. They outsourced their environmental stability for a temporary increase in crop yield and temple size. We call them primitive. We look down on them from our gleaming, centralized digital perch, convinced our complexity shields us. Pathetic. Our complexity is the engine of the disaster. Think about the global supply chain for a single microchip. Thousands of steps, traversing oceans and competing nations, relying on geopolitical stability and constant energy flow. It is miraculous. It is also the most fragile thing ever invented. One wrong move, one regional war, one volcanic eruption, and the entire structure snaps like dry kindling. We engineered global efficiency at the cost of local redundancy. We traded stability for speed. That's the great filter's most effective psychological trick, convincing the intelligent species that optimization is the same thing as security. It is the opposite. Optimization demands the removal of all slack, all buffer, all redundancy. It leaves no room for error. Zero margin. So when the shockwave hits, the one we know is coming, the one our own data screams about, there will be no regional safety net, no localized retreat, just a globally synchronized famine, because we optimized the distribution networks to the point where they cannot handle a single day of disruption. And we won't fix it. We physically cannot. The organizational weight needed to coordinate the necessary global retreat, to relocalize food production, to degrow our industrial footprint, to intentionally sacrifice comfortable modern life for long-term survival. That coordination is precisely what our hyper-politicized tribal brains are incapable of achieving. We will argue about the identity politics of the rescue team while the floodwaters rise. We will fight over the last remaining fuel reserves while the engineers beg for coordination. We will default to tribalism always. The moment resources tighten, the mask drops. We stop being citizens of the Earth and become citizens of a single desperate city block. That's the great filter's masterpiece, forcing a final, impossible choice between immediate survival of the tribe and long-term survival of the species. We choose the tribe every time. We see the pattern repeat. We analyze the inevitable outcome, and we hit the gas. Because ultimately, intelligence is not the key to survival. It is merely the sophisticated tool used to justify the species' collective, immediate gratification, right up until the final, blinding, organizational collapse. It's not an event to fear. It's the terminal symptom of a predictable disease. The terrifying reality isn't that the great filter exists. The terrifying reality is that you, right now, are sitting inside the mechanism designed to ensure you don't escape it. You were never truly free. That's the deepest, dirtiest secret. The Matrix isn't powered by silicon or copper wire. It is powered entirely by your profound, absolute willingness to believe that the next quarterly earnings report, the next upgrade, or the next election cycle is somehow more important than the structural integrity of the reality you stand upon. We trade foundational truth for functional comfort every single day. We built the perfect psychological prison, the prison of convenience. We confuse complexity with depth. We confuse data volume with actual insight. We are drowning in shallow information, specifically optimized to keep the rage simmering and the organizational competence cratering. We argue about trivialities because the alternative, the necessary task of dismantling the global efficiency lie, is too big, too uncomfortable, too expensive. So we distract ourselves until the engine seizes up. This civilization is not destined to be wiped out by gamma rays or an asteroid impact. It will be wiped out by paperwork. It will be wiped out by committee. It will be wiped out by a species that literally cannot put down the vibrating slab of glass long enough to look at the approaching storm. The greatest trick the centralized system ever pulled was convincing you that your personal contribution matters, yet simultaneously ensuring that you have zero actual control over the fundamental infrastructure supporting your life. You can change your diet, You can recycle your plastic. You can protest the local zoning laws. But the moment you try to touch the actual levers of global power, the energy grid, the logistics software, the military-industrial complex that keeps the global South compliant, you realize you are touching the walls of the cell. Those walls are guarded not by soldiers, but by complexity, by bureaucracy, by specialized knowledge guarded behind paywalls and professional guilds. It is a distributed denial-of-service attack on human agency itself. We are kept busy enough to feel productive, yet powerless enough to be utterly irrelevant when the big decisions are made. This is the final deadly optimization. The system requires two things to function: your labor and your silence regarding the fundamental lies. The first lie, that economic growth is perpetual. The second lie, that technology will solve the problems created by technology. The third and deadliest lie, that you are an active participant in your destiny, when in reality, you're a passive passenger on a train designed to derail. So here is the verdict. The great filter is not the collapse. The great filter is the belief that collapse is something that happens to us. It doesn't. Collapse is something we actively choose every time we prioritize comfort over coordination, every time we choose the tribal signal over universal truth. We are intelligent, yes, but we are structurally incapable of acting intelligently on a collective, long-term scale. That is the biological limitation. That is the terminal disease. It means we built the escape shuttle, but we are too busy fighting over who gets the window seat to launch it. You can intellectualize this all you want. You can nod along. But the true test is what you do when you log off. Do you walk outside and start building local redundancy? Do you start sacrificing that optimized, convenient life? Or do you pick up the phone and order the fast food delivered by the global distribution network, proving the lie holds its power right up until the final, blinding flash of synchronization failure? The collapse will arrive like a slow-motion car wreck that suddenly hits terminal velocity. You won't hear a battle cry. You'll hear the quiet hum of the server rooms finally going silent. The last generations won't die fighting aliens or robots. They will die wondering why the grocery store shelf is empty. Exactly 3 days after the logistics database hiccuped and everyone everywhere discovered that buffer stock had been optimized away to zero. What lingers is the knowledge that we had the blueprints. We had the warnings. We even had the video playing in the background while we frantically scrolled through personalized feeds, tailored precisely to keep us politically furious and structurally complacent. We chose the digital noise over the analog reality. We chose the illusion of control over the necessity of sacrifice. The lights will go out. The screens will fade to black. And in that profound, terrifying silence, the last thinking minds will finally grasp the cold truth. The greatest deception ever pulled wasn't political or economic. It was the lie that you were important to the machine. You weren't. You were merely the highly sophisticated, fully optimized fuel. And now, the tank is empty. It's over. The complex calculations, the furious political debates, the endless stream of optimized content, all of it, just a distraction while the structural supports dissolved underneath. This is the verdict. We were not defeated by an enemy outside. We were consumed by the optimized lie within. The entire superstructure of modernity, with its frictionless convenience and outsourced resilience, was a temporary physics experiment designed to accelerate resource combustion. Nothing more. We traded robustness for efficiency, and that trade always ends in disaster. Look around you. You are living inside a giant, beautiful, temporary shell. crafted entirely from debt and delusion. The system was never designed for survival. It was designed for maximum extraction, maximum speed. The greatest tyranny is the one that convinces you your slavery is voluntary. So when the lights flicker for the last time, when the digital echoes finally die, remember that profound betrayal. Remember that you specialized yourself into uselessness. You optimized your life right off the cliff. The machine is dead. The fuel is spent. You are now free. Free and standing in the ruins, armed only with the exquisite, useless knowledge of how the deception worked. That is the end game. Pure silence. Just the cold truth.